homies, Mickler Pants, all back in the Sizzy, back at you again with yet more Silent Hill 3. What was I even doing? What was I even doing? Oh my god. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. It has been a long time since I have played because I just cannot seem to figure out a good work, life, and YouTube balance. It's kind of an interesting conundrum to be in because you would think that like playing video games and stuff would be easy to be as considered as part of life, but at the same time, as a family man, as a father, as a husband, I have a lot of responsibilities that I need to take care of at home, and I'm just not very good at getting them done. Like getting those responsibilities done, but I prioritize those responsibilities because, you know, my family's the most important thing to me. And so what that means is that stuff like this, stuff like YouTube, stuff like fun things that I like to do just get pushed to the back burner. And it's just been really difficult to find a good balance to get this kind of stuff done. I'm still working on it. I like playing video games a lot, and I want to be able to record YouTube stuff, play video games, all of that, edit, and I'm still figuring it out. You know, it's not a simple task for me. It's all about time management, which is one of those things that I just really struggle with. Let me see. What was I fucking doing? Oh my god, it has been a long time since I have played. I've completely fucking... I'm like fucking Zoidberging it out here. Does Zoidberg forget stuff? I've never seen Futurama. Shit. Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. Give me a minute. Give me a second. All right, apparently I have to go to the end of the hallway on the second floor. That's what I need to do. I mean, I was already there. I went all the way up to the roof for nothing. Whole bunch of nothing. That's the third floor. I'm not going to go to the third floor. I got to go to the end of the hallway on the second floor. So that's where I got to go. I don't remember what I got to do there. I quickly skimmed the last part. Oh, a loading screen. That's new. But the end of which hallway? The end of this hallway? See, this is another reason for other LPs. I played the games a couple of times before actually running them because I just kind of remember where things are and what the beats are and what I need to do in certain areas, so that if I have a gap of time where I haven't played it, you know, been able to play in a while, I can still kind of remember where I am just by, you know, having played the game before. But this one I haven't. This is a pretty much blind playthrough myself. I have listened to a Let's Play of this game, but I didn't actively watch it. It was one of those things that I just would have on in the background while doing homework, you know, so this was years ago, obviously. Is this where I need to be? No, that's the puzzle. So this is the end of this hallway, then. Fucking ready. Don't think I won't cut a bitch. Cut a bitch with this fucking katana. That actually is a katana size for her, I think. No, not quite. What's it called? Or maybe it is. Is it 1.5 or 2 forearm lengths for the sword for a katana? I cannot remember. There's a lot of debate online in the sword space where people are like, oh, katanas are so short and so fucking dumb. European swords are so much better. A large part of that is from the fucking, you know, decades of katana glazing that has gone on. That door was locked before, I think. Anyway, there have been decades of katana glazing going on in Western media, talking about how it's the ultimate sword, when really it's just a fucking type of sword. There's nothing. There's the thing that's special about it is the techniques that they used. And it's not even that special because other countries have done similar things, but it is it is a testament to the artistry of blacksmithing, in terms of like what they were able to do with the steel that they had in ancient Japan, which just was not very good, and they managed to make functional weapons out of it that would not break instantly like the swords that came before the katana. Anyway, as I was saying, the one of the main criticisms of the katana is that they are much shorter than European swords. But I think if we just look at how weapons were made, they were often made to, especially something as nice as a sword. Swords were not a cheap weapon. They were very expensive to make. It took a lot of time and it took a lot of materials. They're very expensive and they were often sized to the user. And that's true for all cultures. They would size their weapons, especially swords, to the user. And I'm just forgetting what they did with the katana. And so just on average, Japanese men back in the day were a lot smaller than the European men of the day that would be using these weapons. And women. We must always remember that as long as there have been swords and swordsmanship, there have been women using them as well and practicing them. And so if I'm remembering correctly, a katana is 2 forearm lengths. But I could be wrong. It might be 1.5 forearm lengths. I cannot remember. Anyway, it was just my little rant. The katana had more specific measurements than European swords, but there were also short two-handed European swords too. They're never all made the exact same way, because again, they're all fitted to the user, and they're all also made by different people that have their own way of doing things as well. So it's just like it's things don't have to be so rigid. You know what I mean? There's also a thing like a lot of people are like, oh, katanas, they're really bad at stabbing, and then I'll see people try and stab like how Cheryl is stabbing, where she kind of like lunges forward and chops down with the blade. But when I did Japanese swordsmanship, which was not kendo, this is how you stab people in kendo, but when I did Japanese swordsmanship, I was taught a flat thrust, where you flatten the blade, like you turn the blade sideways and thrust forward like that, and you thrust with the actual like pointy part of the tip, and not just the top of the edge like they do in kendo. This is kind of like a weird mix of the two. I'm sure that there were styles that did it this way as well. It's just I don't know. A lot of people just do not fucking put in the time to learn shit about the martial art that they're describing and critiquing to understand it. Now there is like, you can understand things about fighting and about martial arts and weapon use where you can completely dismiss a martial arts sometimes, but that's not as often as people would think, especially regarding weapons, because weapons are such a fucking X factor when it comes to combat, that like, oh, you don't like, why are we doing it this way? It's like, well, because the weapon was designed to do it this way, and it's just better at doing it this way. Or like, hey, we're not fucking fighting with swords anymore. We want to keep the culture alive and the martial artists in business. We don't want them to lose all of their money. Let's make a sport about sword fighting, but it's going to be a sport now. So it's about getting points and getting hits, and so there's no defense anymore. But like any style of swordsmanship that was meant for like fighting, the stuff that I'm interested in, there's a ton of defensive shit in it. Because guess what? If you attack like that and somebody else attacks like that at the same time, you're both gonna die. So it's less about getting the hit first and more about getting the hit safely, and that's true for every form of sword fighting. And Kendo doesn't have that. Kendo does technically have like defensive footwork and defensive blocks and shit, but like when you watch a Kendo tournament, it's like that's not what they're fucking doing. That's not what they're fucking practicing. They're just practicing, like, you know, fucking hitting each other in the head as quick as they can, and just make sure that they're the first one, because they have a I think they have a right of way system like Western sport fencing does. I don't remember. I don't know enough about Kendo. All I know is I see them hitting each other in the head, and they both get hit in the head, and I'd be like, they'd both be dead. If it were up to me, they would both lose. This is very ominous. And I'm coping by nerding out about fucking swords. Oh, man. What do you see, Heather? Oh, a save point. I guess I'm gonna use it. Doesn't make my head hurt when I look at it, but I know this one, it must be. Oh!
Still has an unusually high fever. Eyes don't open. Getting a pulse, but just barely breathing. Why? What is keeping that child alive?
What the hell? Was I daydreaming? No, it was more like watching a video in a dark room. But that nurse, I know her. Lisa, who was so heavenly toward me in that hellish hospital room. She did get a little weird, though. Oh, she's starting to remember. She's starting to remember. You guys are going to see. You're going to see what this means, especially if you were paying attention to the original Silent Hill playthrough. Where was I going? Talking about swords and shit. I love swords. I love martial arts. I love combat shit in general. I can't get enough of it. I don't know what it is about it that tickles me, or not tickles me, but tickles that like part of my ADHD brain that makes me obsessed with it. But like anything combat related, hand to hand or otherwise, is something that I kind of obsess over. And it's like I'd like to think I'm not an overtly violent person, but I guess I've always understood that violence is a part. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Violence has and always will be a part of human expression and nature. I like to think of violence as like a language, and being a martial artist is like being a poet, playwright, or philosopher, I guess, when it comes to like the language of violence. And then being like a good fighter is like being good at debates, you know? And you're not necessarily like you don't necessarily have to be a good fighter to be a good martial artist, and you don't necessarily have to be a good martial artist to be a good fighter. I would like to be both. I'd like to be good at fighting and a good martial artist. And I feel like what makes a good martial artist, what makes a martial artist different from a fighter, is that a martial artist is motivated by learning as much as they can, and then a fighter is motivated by being as good at fighting as they can, which can coexist. They're not mutually exclusive. That's just the main philosophical difference between the two. If you want to get like, you know, if you want to get fucking like deep about it and shit. Again, I also think that there's just a certain level of understanding of violence that I think everybody needs to understand to be, you know, just to be good, like just to be like a fully grown human. You need to understand at least the alphabet of violence to be like a fully functional, fully grown human being. Oh, if I go down there, I'm gonna fall, aren't I? It's just gonna let me fall. I don't want to fall. You don't have to be you don't have to become a master at it, just like you don't have to become a master linguist to be able to function with a language. But it's still important to understand. I do not... Ah, fuck! Ah, he tripped me! He tripped me! You bastard! Does this work? This should work way better than it does. How many of them are there? Another part of understanding violence is understanding when it's time to cut and run. Supplies. Do I have any healing supplies? I do not! Oh, was that... Did I get the fucking... Okay, good. I did get the Uzi. Okay, cool. Saving that for later, that's for sure. Oh? Oh? Ah! Fuck! No! Oh, God! No! What? This won't open. Where the fuck am I supposed to go? How am I supposed to get out of here? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, what happened? My reflection's standing still. Oh, I died. Oh no, I'm fucking dead. Oh man. What the fuck am I supposed to do there? Alright, I guess I'll hit continue. How far back is that gonna fucking send me? Holy shit. Okay. This is not... Alright, this is not the worst in the world. Alright, let's keep going, I guess. You can just run through here. Just keep going, you know? There's nothing in here. Nothing's gonna bother me in here, right? Yeah. Where was I fucking going with this shit? You know what this really reminds me of? And convinces me that, like, they use a similar engine? It's fucking Spider-Man, the movie, the game. This level. Or specifically reminds me of the sewer level in that game. The doors and the sounds and the way that the characters animate and shit. I'm, like, absolutely convinced that they're using the same engine, even though, like, that shouldn't be possible. I don't think it is, but still. It just looks so similar. Anyway, so I get... Yeah, I don't have a map. I guess I won't go in that room. Do I have a better weapon to fight those things? Skip. Alright, and we're back. I guess don't go into that room. Alright. This shit's creepy as fuck, by the way. Oh, there's a mouth there? Flesh insulation. No thank you. And I think that's Lisa. That's Lisa Garland, I think. At least that's what it looks like. Holy shit. Sorry, Lisa. I love you, Lisa. You're tearing me apart, Lisa! Yeah, guess what movie I saw recently, right? That's not true. That's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. What a story, Mark. Maybe I do fall. Oh, that's bottomless. Well, that was really fucking stupid. This is what you get when you exclusively learn through experimentation. You know, sometimes you end up fucking dying. Alright, I guess we're gonna go through this fucking Spider-Man hallway again. Ugh, if only I could web swing. That'd make me. If I could just web swing for Christmas, that would make me so happy.